Hi, I'm Shevawn Akers, 2nd District Council Member here in Lexington. Joining me today is Stephen Rogers from McConnell Springs Park. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Councilwoman Akers. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for joining us. So today, this is our second trip here to McConnell Springs. There's lots going on. It's a hidden gem here in the 2nd District. Tell us a little bit about the park and about the pond we're standing in front of, first of all.
Yeah, the park is itself really one of the most historically significant areas in Lexington. This is the site where Lexington was named, and now we're a 26-acre nature park. And the park is open 7 days a week, 9 to 5. The trails are open sunup to sundown. We're located at 416 Redmond Lane. And anytime you have questions about the park or any programs and events, you can check out www.lexingtonky.gov/parks or call the park here at 859-225-4073. We have a lot of programs and a lot of activities for schools, any type of group that you may have, children, adults, anything that we can do. Behind us, we have our wetland islands and our wetland pond. This pond is man-made. It was designed to help clean the water. So the water that comes into here is stormwater quality water that comes from roadways and surrounding areas. Right. The water comes in here, has a chance to be trapped in this pond. It gets filtered before it makes its way out into our springs and our drinking water. So this pond is actually helping to clean our drinking water and improve habitat and wildlife living area. And the islands you see out here actually have aquatic plants planted on them to help clean the water, and you can see the turtles love them, and the geese and other animals love the islands as well.
Great. And speaking of the wildlife, as we were walking up today, we saw some deer over in the woods. Tell us a little bit more about all of the different wildlife that we could find here at McConnell Springs.
We do have resident deer that live here. We had a doe that has 3 fawns with her this year. So a lot of people have had a great opportunity to see them when they come out to the park. We of course have any urban wildlife that you would expect to see, from deer to raccoon, possum, even coyote, and we did see a wild turkey here this year. So it's pretty varied, and we see over 120 species of birds pass through the park each year. And
the Nature Center, tell us what all, if a family or a classroom came to visit the park, what would they find inside the Nature Center? We try to keep exhibits going inside the Nature Center that change and rotate but show the natural elements of the park. We do have education animals that we keep in the Nature Center all the time. So we have turtles, we have a snake, we keep rotating exhibits with bats, caterpillars, and anything else seasonal that we have. Living, yes. Yes, absolutely. And the trail system, it's also one of the few places inside the urban area that is paved and has great trails. Yeah, absolutely. We have just under 2 miles of trail. We have a half-mile paved loop, which is ADA accessible, and then we have about just under 1.5 miles of wood chip trails that go by our springs and historic building foundations throughout the park. Right, and so the park was named McConnell Springs. Tell us about the actual natural springs located. We have 2 artesian springs. The first is the Blue Hole, which is an opening in the ground that allows the water to come up, and you can actually see it gets its name because it is blue and it is a hole in the ground. And then the second spring is the Boil. So the water is being forced through smaller cracks in the ground, and it actually bubbles up out of the ground. Right. And the park was named for? William McConnell. Right. He led a group of surveyors here, and he settled on this property. And so this is where Lexington was actually founded? Lexington was named on this site. They had a camp. When they heard about the battle at Lexington, Massachusetts, they named their camp Lexington, and the rest is history. And there we go. So we'll lead right in then on one of the programs that is offered here at the park is called History to Chew On. So tell us a little bit about that, Stephen. History to Chew On is a monthly program that we do from June through October so that we can focus on the historical aspect of the park and tie into that. So we have different presenters come each month, and they present topics covering just about any kind of historical background that we can find. So we've had people discussing the Kentucky long rifle, and we even had someone discussing a brothel that was operated in Lexington this year. So varying topics. And mostly all related back to Lexington and
We try to focus on, we try to focus on Kentucky history, but sometimes we do broaden out just because there are so many interesting things and interesting people in central Kentucky and so many people willing to come here. So we do have topics that broaden out just outside of Lexington and central Kentucky.
And is that hosted indoors in the Nature Center or outdoors?
It's hosted indoors, yes ma'am.
And when are those events held?
We have those events once a month from June to October, and the next program that we have coming up is September 8th. It's called Treasures of the SS Central America, and that presenter is Jeff Garrett, and he is actually one of the gentlemen that surveyed and appraised the gold that was found off the SS Central America. This was one of the largest tragedies and largest loss of life and gold and money in early settlements in America. And then the following program is October 13th, and that's Mary Todd Lincoln, First Lady of Controversy, and that's presented by Gwen Thompson. And so obviously having the Mary Todd Lincoln House here in town, that's a good tie into Lexington to discuss Mrs. Lincoln and how she lived her life.
And so what time of the day are these held?
These are in the evening. They start at 6:15 p.m. each evening to give people time to get off work, and they can come here, bring their dinner, eat here. We provide drinks, soft drinks, refreshments.
Oh, okay. And are they about an hour, 2 hours?
They typically last about an hour to an hour and a half. Okay.
What is the crowd like? Do you have good response? How long have you been doing this program here?
We have a great response to this program. Typically, we can expect around 50 people to show up. And this is one of our longest lasting programs that we've had at the park. It's been going on for several years. And
this program was actually initiated by the Friends of McConnell Springs. Tell us a little bit about that group.
The Friends of McConnell Springs is a 501c3 nonprofit. They were formed to help purchase the property that is now McConnell Springs. And once they purchased the property, they donated it to the city to become a park. And they've been a great partner not only to the park, but the city itself ever since by donating funds to help improve McConnell Springs and improve the quality of programs that we do here.
And they do lots of fundraisers. I know they do the wine tasting. Is that coming up?
That will be coming up early next spring.
Okay.
Early next spring, the wine barrel tasting.
Right. Yep. And then they have lots of activities for families. If you haven't visited the park, I urge you to take a drive out Old Frankfort Pike. For those in the 2nd District, it's just off of Forbes Road between Forbes and New Circle. Take a drive, bring the family, walk the trails, participate in some of the historical programming that's offered here, as well as reenactments that you all do every spring also, right, in May?
In May, Founders Day.
Founders Day is celebrated here as well. So I want to thank you so much for educating us again and letting us know more about McConnell Springs. And you want to share the website one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. That's www.lexingtonky.gov/parks.
And again, my name is Shevawn Akers, council member for the 2nd District. Thanks for joining us.